Architecture is very much a social science. It involves creativity and art, but it involves developing a real understanding of places and people and how they use all the things that you're trying to make, really. And when you see people for the first time, when they come to the office for interview, or when you're trying to encourage people, or talking to students at school, which is something that we do a lot, telling them about the profession, it's always interesting to talk about the things that actually surround architecture: music, art, landscape, all those things. And when people come to the office to see us and to talk about maybe coming to join us or work experience, we're looking for those life skills as well, which are not just about being able to draw. Yeah, that's part of it, but what do you do in your spare time? Do you make things? Are you creative? Do you notice other things? What sensitivity is there? Are you enthusiastic? Do you feel you can really make a difference? Because this is certainly a profession where you can make a huge difference to the lives of so many people, and it's so rewarding because it's so creative.
I'm trying to decide on a scale, the scale of practice you want to work in. Falkland Browns is quite a big practice for the north, and that attracted me because I knew the scope of the work that they'll be doing would be vast, so I could get involved in anything. What I did, I put together my portfolio once I'd finished the 3 years and rang around practices, particularly Falkland Browns, and made sure I got a name of someone I could contact there, so I knew who to send my CV to, and then sent it in, and then always followed up with a phone call just in case, which definitely paid off here because I'd actually spelt the name of my contact wrong and they hadn't got my email. So luckily I followed up and got it right, and they received it, and then I got the placement. So definitely follow up with a phone call.
When you're in the thick of your university degree, one of the first things you might think about is time off. A sandwich year in business is often a good way to break up the tedium of uni work and also gain some valuable on-the-job experience. So what advice can our interviewees give you on the subject?
I think when you take a year out, it's a step into the unknown. So the decision you make can start to form your career in the future. So you need to be prepared to select the practice that you think is going to suit you and have sort of culturally have the same sort of ideals that you have architecturally. I think if you go into a practice as a young architect and jar a little bit with the way that practice wants to work or their architectural beliefs, I think it'll be a hard year and you might struggle to get on with it. However, if you get into the right place and the right people and you feel comfortable in the environment when you're interviewed, I think you'll find that that's the most important thing.
I think communication skills and interpersonal skills are extremely important within the profession. You're always having to deal with other people, whether it be clients, consultants, planning authorities, presentation skills, things like that all help in getting new work, etc. And people like to work with people they get on with.
I think year out is really important, and for me, I had an option of either going with a very big practice or a smaller practice, and I chose to go for the 4-man practice because I wanted that experience, I wanted that management, which I felt at the time. I thought, maybe with the big practices you'd just be sort of drawing and things like that, and I wanted that involvement with clients, with consultants. So I chose a smaller practice over the larger one in that instance, and it was brilliant for me. It really worked. I had a great experience. It was fantastic, and I think that in your year out there is a great opportunity just to explore your, the things you've learned.
Once you've finished your part 1 and you're looking for a placement for part 2, it's really important to decide the sort of practice that you actually want to work in. There's a lot of variety out in the marketplace, and there's a lot of different companies at the moment. So there's a real variety of whether you want to work for a very small company or a very large company, whether there's different sectors that you want to work in, or whether certain practices offer certain experiences or certain specialities. For myself, it was important for me, I felt, to work in a small practice, and I wanted to do this because I gained a really, really in-depth knowledge. I was thrown right in the deep end, and that meant that I could actually get my hands really dirty and I could learn a lot very quickly.
Whatever your career choice and however proficient you are in your role, you're bound to come up against some challenging times and situations. As the old adage goes, you gotta take the rough with the smooth. So what kind of challenges have our architects had to face up to so far?
They are about making a place that people will remember, and creating an environment, whether it be a school a hospital, a public building that people feel comfortable in, that's fit for purpose, and that people can delight in. That word delight is something that runs all the way through everything that we do, and it is such an exciting opportunity when you get a blank piece of paper and a brief and a team around you to think, right, what are we going to do here? What are the key drivers, and what can the site offer us, and how hard can we listen to our clients?
There's many challenges to being an architect throughout the whole design through to construction process, but a lot of them do focus upon the early design stage, where we have a lot of, whether it be persuading the client of a vision, whether it be persuading the public of your design intent and making them understand, you know, your logic and the things that you're wanting to do for the better of the area. But there's also the planning process, which can be quite a struggle at times, or it can sail through beautifully. It completely depends on the project, on the planners, on the location, but it can be a very, very good learning experience for a graduate. That process of how to get your ideas across to someone else, and that's where those good communication skills come in.
I think the biggest challenges in architecture are to do with the way the job is structured. It's not a career for everyone, really. We have to react to other people's needs and aspirations. Our clients are the key. They will have time frames, and they will have a need to get something done in a fixed way and to a fixed standard. So it's absolutely not a routine job. So the challenges are to do with making sure that we can deliver to deadlines, and it means that from time to time we have to work extremely hard on sociable hours, and we have to be in locations where they want us to be. So it's not a job for somebody who's looking for stability necessarily, or doesn't like things to be disruptive. It can be disruptive on home life. It can have adverse effects on a sort of structured, simple life. So it is very reactive. So those are the challenges, but they're also the things that most of us really enjoy. Most of us really enjoy the fact that it is varied and different, and we're always problem solving. So it's a very positive job. So the downsides are also the bits that we enjoy, because we're drawn to the job, but it doesn't suit everyone.